thing. That big, open, just wandering around, no right or wrong directions, no path to follow. You can just go in any... Oh, thank heavens we avoided it. We're out of the woods now, Stanley. Okay, I'm going to get us out of here. Let's find another game. Preferably something with walls. Something with nice, big, insurmountable walls. Okay, I think this will be just the thing.
Don't know. Wait a minute, hold on, wait,
Wonderful.
hold on.
See, this is exactly what I had in mind. Just a nice big box for you to run around in. There isn't any possibility that you could get lost here. Now this is game design. Stanley, if you manage to get lost in this game, I will be phenomenally impressed.
I'm sorry. Am I in fucking Rocket League?
So what exactly do we do here? Let's see. There are lots of cars here in the back, but obviously there's no racetrack. Okay, I'm seeing that there's a ball of some kind back here. Is this game sports ball? Stanley, I think it's sports ball. Oh, what fun. We shall run the bases and do a touchdown together. Yes, I think surely we must. Okay, Stanley, here's the ball. Have fun.
I don't have a car, so it's like... Am I seriously playing Rocket League and...
Hold on. What are you doing? Stanley, don't do that. I can't follow you there. I can't help you. How will you write a story without me? You can't do it. You know that. Stanley, come back.
Excuse me? What? What the fuck? Where am I? Has this become a horror game now? What?
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Okay, that's... What the fuck was that? Hold on a sec. I just ended up in fucking Rocket League. So that was Rocket League. What the fuck? Hold on, Gabe sent me something. That's so weird. I'm speechless. How the fuck did I end up in fucking Rocket League of all things? Like,
Stanley had no...
hold on, who made this game? Who fucking made this? Because, like, is that even allowed? No, because, like, copyright shit like that should not be allowed in games. Hold on. Not that I'm, you know, not that I have a problem with it. It's just, like, strange.
Never seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was.
That door was not open on.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Sorry, please.
Shit. Can't, okay, there's no way to, like...
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Except I walked the opposite direction.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He
Hello
considered
there,
the
British
possibility
man.
of facing his boss.
Hi, Mickey.
Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished. His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking
Am I going in
mysteriously out of
circles?
existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet
You are.
when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming!
You're going in a loop.
This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay.
Nope. Still here.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And
was this cutscene filmed in Gary's mod? This is a Gary's... Wait, no, this is a cutscene from Gary's mod. Look at the textures.
Call for an ambulance for just a...
I recognize, like, the textures on the... I recognize, like, the style. This is a cutscene from Gmod.
A few brief moments, she considered the street.
Looks like it low.
It does.
Crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
This is so fucking weird. Begin the game again.
Someone was following Stanley. He was sure of it. If he checked over his shoulder now, he would surely catch them. It was only a matter of time.
So those doors were open. Okay.
You am so confused right now.
Oh, new content.
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
It means new content, you British more British sounding pussy. Anyway, let's go. Now I wonder, can I drop down to the other side?
Hello, and thank you for playing the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. As you may know, the Stanley Parable was a video game released in 2013 on
New
home
means new
computers.
content for the channel dummy.
After receiving critical and commercial success, it was expanded upon in 2022 with the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe.
Which one are you talking about? Me or the Neri?
Computers. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe features exciting new content that broadens and expands the world of the Stanley Parable, delighting audiences the world over.
Well, I know that.
Please step inside and see what thrilling new adventures await in the Stanley
Well, I didn't know
Parable
that. I thought it was just new
Ultra
content now, not because of the
Deluxe.
other endings. But anyway.
Oh, this sounds delightful. I'm very excited to see the thrilling new Ultra Deluxe content.
I was just checking if there was just
Get
in
it
case
if
there
you
was.
will new content, haha. I want to die right now.
I was just checking if there was an alternate.
Okay, so far it's an elevator. Nothing special yet, but I'm sure it's just the beginning of a mesmerizing adventure.
Am I gonna end up in like fucking Undertale or something? I ended up in Rocket League or something.
Is it broken? What's going on here?
We're just gonna end up in
Should we-
FNAF's location.
Should we be moving somewhere or... oh, there we go. All right, finally, at long last, it's on
In
to
last
the
stream
new
I entered-
content.
oh,
I've
no, in
never
this
been more
last
ready.
stream?
Let's do it.
Yeah, last stream I entered fucking Rocket League. No joke.
I have to say, initial impressions of Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, mostly tedious. It's as if oh, okay. Let's see the content. Give me the content, Stanley.
Wait a minute.
All right, let's see. It's the jump.
Why does the elevator look it's in India?
I can finally jump! Only in the fucking circle though! Yeah,
Don't be
boy!
racist.
Wait, what? Alright, check on the stream what he's saying.
It sounded kinda racist.
What sounded kind of racist?
When I said it's made in India.
Oh. Is it? I don't... You know, I don't really see that... Is it?
Is that it? Surely that's not all the new content. There has to be something else, right?
That'd be really fun.
Another elevator. Stanley, I have to say, initial impressions of this game are not positive. It's just elevators and jumping. Is this what passes for exciting new content?
Yes,
if this is
because...
new content, then I could just read you the whole dictionary. There's 20 hours of new content right there. Hell, I could counter 30 trillion. You could put that on the box. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe, now with over 1,000 hours of new content. And if... oh, wait. There's more. Very good. Yes. I knew there had to be something else. Let's see it. I'm ready for whatever it is.
Thank you for enjoying
That's
the
it?
new content.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You see, Stanley? This is what happens when greedy video game developers with no respect for their fan base rush a cheap expansion to market for no reason other than to make an easy dollar. And don't get me started on the level of craftsmanship that's gone into it. In fact, I'm looking right now at the game's trophies, and it's hard to believe one of them actually says, "Test trophy, please ignore." What quality assurance department signed off on this? I'm infuriated and I'm offended, and I intend to find these people on Twitter and hold them personally accountable.
It's actually
It's
called
my
X
fault,
now, but
Stanley.
no, never
I
mind.
built up too much anticipation around the new content, I'm afraid. It could
Everyone calls
never
it
have
Twitter,
lived up to
so
such
whatever.
expectations. If you're still with me, why don't we just reset the game?
Well, I don't
and
wanna
we'll
reset
try to
the
get
game.
back
I
to
love the
what
new
Stanley
content.
Parable is really about.
I love frosting
No
this
frills,
uh,
no gimmicks.
board.
Just you and me having a great time together like always.
Frost in the
What do you
board,
say,
frost in the
friend?
board, frost in the board. Okay, never mind. Ooh! Now I see, this is new content. Look at this shit. See? I told you, you fucking ultra British narrator piece of shit. This is the real content.
Stanley, come over here. In the vent.
No,
I want to
fuck.
show you something.
No, fuck off. New content.
Oh.
Wait.
You don't want to see the cool surprise I made for you? Well, fine. You're a dork anyway, so who
No.
cares?
No. Never mind. Okay. Change my mind.
Never mind. You're not a dork.
Alright. What's the cool thing you want to show me?
Okay, you remember how cheap and unsatisfying the new Ultra Deluxe content turned out to be? Well, it got me thinking about the past, and how much better the Stanley Parable used to be. So I made something special and tucked it away here where the game's developers won't find it. Just our little secret. Take a look. I call it the Memory Zone. It's where I've been storing all my favorite memories so I can relive the peak experiences of my life whenever I want. Experiences like the launch of the Stanley Parable on PC. You see, Stanley, doesn't the Memory Zone remind you of how wonderful Stanley Parable was before it was sullied with a cheap PlayStation port? Remember back in October of 2013 when the game originally launched? Back then, video games had integrity. Back then, it all meant something. Oh, the waste.
Stanley Parable. Oh my god, they actually took a picture of the game when it was on, like, fucking Steam and shit. That's so cool. Don't forget Stanley Parable. It's like, was I supposed to find this? I don't think I was supposed to. I think.
This is the new version of Stanley Parable.
Yeah, I know it's the deluxe version, but Stanley Parable. Station. Okay. Trip, smile because it happened. A trip down memory lane. Okay, George Washington, I guess. Alright, let's go. Also, wait, this game released back in 2013? I didn't know that. It was much earlier than that. Then again, it does explain how the game looks, so fair enough then. Or how it could have used to look. Oh, hold on, I don't expect.
And over here is where I keep reviews of the Stanley Parable. Like this stunning triumph of games journalism. 10 out of 10 from Destructoid.com. James
All I know
Stephanie
is this
Sterling
guy
writes,
sounds
and
like
I
the Little
quote,
Planet guy.
"Where so many games that aspire to be more than games end up less than any form of art, Stanley Parable strives and then succeeds to be every game ever created." Did you hear that, Stanley? Every game ever created. That's how grand and all-encompassing the original Stanley Parable was.
Yeah,
It was
and then FNAF
literally
happened.
every game ever created. It was Skyrim, it was Persona 3, it was all of them, and now it's nothing.
Yeah, because
It's
FNAF.
no games at all. It isn't even the Stanley
Even, wow, Persona 3 actually got mentioned, holy shit.
Parable anymore. It's just a husk now. A lifeless husk with an hour of new elevator content.
I mean, don't really get what the creator was trying to say here now. It's just like, is this like, I might be wrong, but is the creator or like trying to imply through this game that this is like groundbreaking? Because like, this is great and all, like YouTubers played it, but like, I don't really call this groundbreaking. It's just walking through rooms, to be fair. And obviously, I don't think the whole fourth wall break shit is well, I guess it's groundbreaking for this, but like, is it though? There had to be like some games that did it before this though, or at least did it more good in a spectacular way.
Here's another moving passage, this time from GameSpot.com.
Oh shit, Source.
The Stanley Parable is both a richly stimulating commentary on the nature of choice in games and one that offers some of the most enjoyable, surprising, and rewarding choices I've ever been confronted with in a game.
So maybe this game wasn't made in like Gmod. Maybe, well, obviously it wasn't. Maybe this game was made in Source, which might explain the Gmod looking cutscene.
9 out of 10. Don't you get it, Stanley? The game was perfect. It didn't need anything else. It didn't need new content. All they had to do was transport it in pristine condition along to the PlayStation.
Maybe.
Boom, done. And they couldn't even do that. Couldn't resist the urge to go meddling with a beloved franchise.
Not really a franchise. Can't even get across to the new door.
These were simpler times, Stanley. But I wouldn't give to go back, to have it all over again. Wait, hang on. I don't recall this part of the memory zone before. What's this? What's down here? Oh no, oh God, no, Stanley. It's a collection of reviews from Pressurized Gas, the extremely popular online storefront for computer games. I haven't looked at these in years. I can't even imagine what's been collecting down here. Surely these reviews were glowing as well, weren't they?
Oh, Jesus.
Honestly, I could not be bothered to play this game to full completion. The narrator is obnoxious and unfunny, with his humor and dialogue proving to be more irritating than entertaining. Unfunny! I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to make a serious work of art. I suppose I could write up a handful of gags to insert into the Stanley Parable, but the game is already such a densely layered web of profound philosophical insights that I can't even imagine where I'd have the room to stick them.
Jesus Christ. Alright, can't read that. That's... okay. Can't read that.
Okay, let's see what this one says.
There's one
While the idea for the
positive
game
ones
is
on the
good,
ground.
for someone who prefers non-linear games, this preachiness gets annoying fast. Preachy? Stanley, I'm not preachy, am I? You can tell me if I'm preachy. Honestly, you can. Oh, goodness. This is actually quite shocking for me. Well, to be honest, I had always thought of the game's dialogue as being rather terse to begin with.
Are these like actual reviews for the game and the creators just like folded them on display in the actual game? Because like...
You can't know how much fluff I cut from the game to get it to feel as light and airy as...
Okay, okay, sorry to pause, but I'm going to assume that well, actually, I'm pausing because the narrator won't stop fucking talking. But he's doing this in a joking way, right? There's no fucking way that there was a Euphoric Brothers before this guy. Like, there's no...
What
well,
game should I play?
A Euphoric Brothers, like, that was... you know what I mean. FNAF game should I play? Like on Roblox or like FNAF itself?
It may be too.
I'm not sure.
Itself.
I don't know. What ones have you played? Or haven't? Anyway.
Fangames.
Oh, fan games. Try Thief Needs It Bleeds. Try Thief Needs It Bleeds collection. just, yeah. Try that. It's easy to download, and it's a very good, very popular Five Nights at Freddy's fan game. Markiplier played, and he enjoyed it very much. Very, very popular. It's spelled like this. It's Alright.
Five Nights at Blues Keys or well 5 Nights at Blues Clues collection.
Anyway, so, right. Back to what I was trying to say. Ow. The point I'm trying to make is that... What was I going to say? Alright, the point... There's no way there was like a There's no fucking way there was a creator before, like... There was a creator that was so over it, like, that couldn't take criticism, like the Euphoric Brothers, so they just made this. Because, like, I don't really see this as groundbreaking. I mean, it's a good game, but I wouldn't call this groundbreaking. Like, that's like if... That is like the exact same... That is like this exact same petty argument that every fucking indie horror game, mascot horror game, is a direct copy of Five Nights at Freddy's, because it's just all because, like, dead children, evil mascots, and souls and shit. But, like, that's not FNAF. That's just a different game. If you put it like that, then yeah, it sounds like a copy. But, like, if that's the case, then Undertale is a fucking copy of FNAF, because dead kids, souls, and lore. But if you actually, like, you know, looked into the game or fucking played it, it's more to it. Like, I'm not gonna call, like, then again, I mean, like I said, I'm not gonna call, like, There's No Time to Explain or Undertale the next fucking Stanley Parable.
Well, I will sort it.
Elliot, you want my ears to hurt? Lol, I watched videos, and it looks funny but very loud.
Or the fucking... I don't goddamn know. Like, the fucking... Or the fucking next Half-Life.
But maybe it wasn't. Dear, what an awful memory to have to hold on to. These black marks on my otherwise unimpeachable track record.
Jesus.
I feel like a failure. Like I let these people down. Perhaps the Stanley Parable isn't quite as sterling as I always remembered. What's this one got to say? You constantly have to stop doing anything so the narrator can catch up with his long-winded explanations of what's happening. I wish there was a skip button. A skip button? Well, yes. Yes, I think we can do that. If I'm truly too preachy, then maybe letting you skip ahead for just a moment, surely it couldn't hurt. Not if it means we can strike these negative reviews from the record. Only positive reviews of the Stanley Parable. That's my motto today, and it's always been my motto. I'd do anything for the customer, Stanley. Yes, a skip button we shall have.
Oh no, is this gonna...
They are real reviews.
That's what I'm thinking. I mean, if they are, okay, if they're not, then obviously it's a joke. But if they are, and like the creator is still joking about it, then that's fine. But if this is like them actually just taking the fucking piss out of, like, I hope it's not, by the way. But if this is just them taking the piss out of, like, all the negative reviews and just saying, we made this groundbreaking fucking cool game where, like, the narrator breaks the fourth wall and shit. Oh, so cool. No, you didn't. Okay, well, you did, but not really, like, amazing.
And here it is.
But no,
Go ahead and give it a shot. I'll pop you forward in time. Oh, you're back, you see. You were only frozen in time for a few minutes, but it was plenty of time for me to deliver a long, rambling monologue full of unnecessary verbal flourishes and... Well there, sport. You really did catch me rambling on a bit, didn't you? But that's the power of the button. The minute I start to go off on a thoughtless display of self-absorption, it... Okay, welcome back, Stanley. Now, I should say that the amount of time the button has been skipping through is becoming longer and longer. That last one was, well, I want to say maybe 30, 45 minutes. Stanley, please don't push the button again. It's been 12 hours. You've just been frozen there. I don't know why the skips are getting longer, but they're really, truly getting longer, and my God, there's no way out of the room. Stanley, the door is gone. It's completely gone. I've looked at it from every angle. I've checked every one of those walls a thousand... Oh, Stanley, you're back. You're back. Oh, my goodness. I have someone to talk to again. Stanley, I think it's been a week. Or 2 weeks. I've been sitting
Nah, it's gonna be a month now, bitch. Oh, wait.
Oh, hello. It's you. You're here again. Welcome. I have had time to think about you and about us and about every...
Wait. Narrator? Did I kill the narrator? Oh. Alright, well, guess the narrator's dead.
I think he dead.
Oh.
Yes, dead.
Oh no. Ow. Okay, yeah. Please, 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 no. Oh god, don't get that. Don't
But they didn't understand the game was never meant to be funny. It was meant to have a point. It was meant to speak to the human condition. But where are the jokes? Where are the jokes? They bemoaned, they screamed, they gnashed their teeth and said, entertain us. It wasn't enough. They had to leave a...
Oh, NVM, he is alive.
Okay, yeah, he's alive. I don't like this. Nope, I heard something. I'm gonna skip.
The end is never the end, 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 is never the end.
No.
I think the narrator is going crazy.
I think so too. Let me look around the area for a second. Okay, nothing here. Skip. Okay, yeah, that's different. That's new. Okay. Okay. Skip.
I feel like there is gonna be a jump scare.
Same I like how every... Oh shit. Stock again. I would like to leave. I would like to leave.
Oh, the room is getting old.
I would like to leave, please.
Down.
Go. Okay. Whoa. What the fuck? Have I just gone forward in time?
The noises kind of scare me.
What the fuck is going... Oh my god, what is even here anymore?
How much time did it pass?
To be like went to the future or something, or I don't know. I feel like that loud beeping is gonna come and then reset me back to like... Yep. Or it's gonna go black and then... That...
A soft wind blew outside and perhaps rain started, and if it did, it stopped shortly after. Stanley hoped that he would one day see weather.
New content. Okay.
Oh, good. You noticed my sign. Yes, I have something very exciting.
So the point of the game is a loop, I guess.
Yeah, the point of the game, it's just a loop, but like, there's different outcomes, that's the thing. So what's the new content? new. No, don't.
You see, Stanley, I've been reflecting on the Stanley Parable and about how roundly disappointing this ultra-deluxe version has turned out to be. The original Stanley Parable was a landmark, and any new content for it should live up to that legacy. So forget this ultra-deluxe nonsense. I say we take it one step even further. Which is why I'm very proud to announce for the first time ever, the Stanley Parable 2.
Oh my god, we're playing the sequel, I guess.
Yes, you see, isn't this far superior to a measly port with a few minor additions? Think of all the new territory we'll cover with a fully fledged sequel. An entirely
Goddamn, the
new
too
experience
sexy as
built
fuck,
from
it's
the ground
red.
up. Why, there are so many possibilities. It could go in so many different directions.
Can you believe that the Stanley Parable game made a fucking sequel before Half-Life 3? Can you believe the developers made a sequel before Half-Life 3? Can you believe it, guys? The developers made a sequel before Half-Life 3, before Valve made Half-Life 3. And Portal 3. How insane is that? Anyway.
This is what fans have truly been asking for.
Red.
Calling it the Stanley Parable 2 is just so much catchier than Ultra Deluxe, don't you think? Ultra Deluxe? What does it even mean? But the
Deluxe.
Stanley Parable 2, now that's an artistic statement right there. It's future-oriented. It screams progress and innovation and long-term franchising potential.
Series,
clear,
not franchise.
I haven't quite nailed down what exactly the Stanley Parable 2 is going to be, but let's take a look at some of the features I've been developing for it. I figure that if I can loosely organize a handful of interesting concepts, that surely the game will sort of naturally spring up around them. It'll all work itself out. Game
New
development
features.
is much more of a fuzzy magic than anything scientific or logical, really.
What is logical? Logical? Oh, I can't tell. Oh, I can't tell. Is this? Anyway.
Here we are. Go on. Try out some of the new features.
Wait, so is this actually like a sequel? So can we like go in like different directions? Okay, that.
Wait, guys, haven't you heard?
A common complaint of the Stanley Parable was that it
About
was
Bendy.
confusing and
Oh yeah, it's getting a new
that
movie.
it engendered a chaotic sense of reckless despair in those who played it. Well, I'm happy to say that after much consideration, I've engineered a clever solution to this fundamental
Like a
problem.
proper
of
one
the
and not
game.
like a hoax.
It's the Stanley Parable Reassurance.
Wait, what?
You see, Stanley,
Yes.
anytime you're holding the bucket,
I
a
did.
sense of
Um,
calm and ease will fill your mind
Right.
and your heart. It's true. As long as you hold on to the bucket, the many disorienting contradictions of the Stanley Parable will feel perfectly normal and perhaps even comforting.
And there's a new
You
game
may
coming
even come
out.
to
Like,
long for the gentle embrace
probably, like,
of
next
jarring
year, hopefully.
cognitive dissonance while the bucket is in your arms. And to be
well,
honest,
maybe not, but
it's a much more convenient solution for me than actually redesigning the game to be less uncomfortable.
Bending
Can you
the
imagine what a
cage.
pain in the ass that would be? Yes,
Yeah.
the bucket is the perfect solution.
a
Come on,
bucket.
give it a try.
What's so good about the bucket?
Can you feel it? The glow of comfort, even in the face of crushing despair, must already be sweeping through your body. And in fact, can I say that I do believe the bucket lends you an air of charisma as well? I think that just holding it has made you the slightest bit more attractive as a person. The benefits of the bucket seem to go on and on, don't they? All this and more await you in the Stanley Parable 2. Does anyone give out awards for most enjoyable bucket in a video game? Okay, I'll be honest, I haven't yet decided on this one. I think that in the new version, the office could use a bit of decoration, like balloons. But I'm undecided on Get Well Someday and Happy 12th Birthday. Which would you go with? You know, sometimes when you solicit another person's opinion, it makes you realize that you knew which one you actually really wanted all along. Happy 12th birthday, step-niece, it is.
Okay.
Or actually, maybe I should have gone with... No, I've made my decision, we're moving on.
No, we're not. What's that room? Oh, you fucking dick, you made 2 rooms different. I'm sorry, did this guy, like, plan it so that way when I go through a room, it's just gonna go through a room he wants me to go through no matter what?
For the Stanley Parable 2, I asked myself, what do players really want? And of course, the first and most obvious answer is that they want to be individually recognized and validated as people. So with that in mind, my first addition to the game is this button which speaks the name of the person playing the game. Isn't that wonderful?
Okay.
Jim. Sorry, I should have clarified. Right now, the button only says the name Jim. But of course, in the final game, this button will say your name, whatever name that is. Here, let's have you role-play as Jim to really simulate the full experience of this feature. Just play along. I promise you'll love it. Okay, here we go. Let's take a deep breath, clear your mind, forget whoever you are, and simply become a person named Jim. I want you to imagine yourself living as Jim, sleeping and waking as Jim, falling in love and being heartbroken as Jim. See, Jim. Whoa, hold on. I wasn't finished setting up the backstory. If you don't properly roleplay as Jim, then you'll never understand the impact of this button. Otherwise, it's just a stupid
downloading
button
a
that says
FNAF
somebody
game
else's
called
name.
Birthday at Freddy's.
Okay, we're doing it again, and this time let me finish first. Now, allow yourself to become Jim. All right, fine, whatever. It's just a meaningless button that says Jim. Are you happy now? Get out of here. I'm done with this button. Why don't you go humiliate me in front of a different feature that I worked very hard on? Maybe I'll only let people named Jim play the Stanley Parable 2. They would appreciate what I've created here. An epilogue would be fun, wouldn't it, Stanley? Yes, it will go at the end of the, well, we'll figure that out later.
I can't believe an infinite hole is up there.
It is done downloading Sire Elliot. I'm a go play the Birthday at Freddy's.
Sure. Okay. Hope you enjoy. Brain plus easy trophy. Let's see what this is. Trophy, let's go through here.
Now, here's something special. You remember that broken test trophy that got left in the game on accident? Well, I'm developing a technology to simply give you the trophy. Yes. You see, you'll come to this lever, and when you pull it, the trophy will be given. Okay, perhaps I should have clarified. This is technology that will exist. Right now, the trophy is still fully broken. I'm not a wizard, Stanley, but I guarantee it will be fixed in the sequel to at last satisfy the hordes of ravenous fans all over the world who have been uproariously demanding this feature. Gamers, we hear you, and I promise it will happen.
Alright.
What else? What other exhibits haven't we seen yet? Ah, collectibles. Now it's a real video game. In the Stanley Parable 2, you'll run around gathering up these miniature Stanley figurines. And what's truly innovative is that there will be no reward for collecting all of them. I don't want to stifle the intrinsic joy of watching a number go up. You simply collect all of them, and then you move the hell on with your unremarkable life.
Oh. Oh. Okay. Collect them all, you can find them, and you can find them, you can find them. You can okay, fuck you,
God,
okay.
it really is the worst when you collect everything in a video game, and then they give you a big fancy reward for it. Absolutely tragic.
Yeah. It's the point. The way you... I don't get the point of it, what the creator is trying to say.
Stanley, here's an idea that I'm truly fond of. It's never been done before in a video game. This is, in fact, a hole that you can fall down forever. That's right. Infinite falling. You can fall until the end of time, if you like. A stunning leap forward for video games as a medium. You see, isn't it wonderful? One of my more ingenious concoctions, if I do say so. Now then, since you've gotten to see the infinite hole, you can press the teleport button to pop back up to the top, and we can continue onward. Great. Now, I'm very excited to show you even more of my ideas for the sequel. Okay, and I guess we're back in the hole now. Did you really need to see it again? I don't know what else there is to say, Stanley. It's an infinite hole. It's exactly what you're doing right now, but forever. There really are so many other fascinating exhibits that I've prepared for you. I really spent quite a lot of time on all this, and I would very much like to show you some more of them. How about we go ahead and press that teleport button again, so we can get back to what's really important about... Oh, goodness. Well, this is rather embarrassing, Stanley. I'll be honest with you. I truly did not believe that anyone would actually stay in the hole long enough to hit the bottom. Yes, I know, I told you the hole was infinite, but come on. Who actually wants to fall forever? The hole was plenty deep. It was more than deep enough, in my opinion. Maybe it's you who likes falling too much. Maybe you're the problem. Look, things got a little heated there. I think we both said some things we didn't mean. Why don't we just put all this behind us and agree to just call the hole mostly infinite? If that works for you, then go ahead and press the teleport button to warp up to... Oh, for heaven's sake! You see? I was right.
Okay, so I clicked start and I think it was an April Fool's game or something, cause I clicked start and it was playing Men's and closed the game.
Said, yep, that's an infinite hole right there. Goes on forever till the end of time. Don't need to see it all, but not you. Oh, no, 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 no. You have a weird sort of... Oh. Did the hole seem even shorter to you this time? I couldn't help but feel like you spent a little less time in there than you did before. I mean, admittedly, I didn't make an infinite hole, but I didn't think it was that not infinite. Well, I suppose once again there's nothing to do here. If you decide you've had enough of the hole, you can hit the teleport button and come join me up above. Had enough? I'm positively thrilled. Gosh, how could I have guessed? You're back in the hole. If this starts to become a thing where...
It's
Wow.
smaller.
Okay. Yes. I'm starting to become extremely certain that the hole is not only not infinite, but that it's growing steadily less and less infinite. I suspect that I'm starting to hit the point where it's no longer feasible to call the hole infinitely deep, even by the lax overall standards for accountability and marketing. What's going on here? Stanley, I have no explanation for the uncertain nature of the hole's length.
Okay, I'm a play 1 week at
Try
Flunkies.
something. Let's pop back up to the top, and we'll see if it gets any shorter.
Alright.
Oh, there it is.
Oh.
The shame of my life. How is this still appealing to you? I know you're obsessed with holes, but at this depth, I just can't see this scratching the itch. Oh, who am I to judge? You just do whatever it is you're here to do and hit the teleport button when you're ready to move on. Is the, teleport button not working? You sure? Well, I mean, I really don't have an explanation. It's still nothing. Well, I suppose there is one thing I can do to fix this.
Jump.
I'm out. Goodbye, Stanley.
Oh,
you couldn't bear to be away from the hole, and now you'll get more time with it than you could ever have
Oh, you
asked for.
fucking
It's a
extreme
win for
British
everyone. You get
bitch.
to be with the hole. I get to do literally anything
No,
else.
you fucking British
Take care,
twat.
Stanley.
Oh,
I hope
you.
you and the hole have a wonderful rest of eternity together.
Right, I'm stuck in the fucking hole now. Great, I don't even want to be in the hole.
Well,
What was that? Okay, I'm actually really scared now. What was that? What's going on? Ooh, the narrator man messing up because I'm going to a fucking secret. This bitch don't even know where he's going, talking about, oh, I'm gonna leave you there forever. Well, guess what? I'm gonna go in the hole. Oh, I'm gonna fucking leave you in the hole forever because you'll just be there. No, I'm getting content, bitch. I'm getting content. You're not doing shit. I'm going to the deep fucking hole to do some shit. Changing your perspective. Oh my god, look at that. Changing my perspective. Holy fuck, it's a man. Changing my perspective. I look fucking disgusting. Changing my perspective. Oh look, it's a POV of my arm. Changing my perspective. Changing your perspective. Changing back. What's this?
what you?
Stronger. Now you're no longer using up the space of mine. My head's stronger.
The fuck?
You're no longer using up the space of mine. My head's stronger. Now you're no longer
Oh.
using up
That looks
the
bad.
space of mine.
That looks worse. That looks even worse. That looks slightly better. Thanks, man.
Stronger. Now you're no longer using up the space of mine.
Stanley? Stanley!
Oh,
Oh, good, you're awake.
Oh.
It seems you had sort of dozed off there, drifting away into dreamland. But we can't have that, Stanley.
because this hole is just so darn fascinating that I want you to be wide awake for every second of it. You don't want to miss a single moment. So how about if I just pop in from time to time and wake you up to keep you really, truly focused on the hole? From the looks of things, you and I will have many, many years here in this hole, and I'm looking forward to all of them. Stay alert, Stanley. I'll be back. Toodle pip.
You fuck. Narrate. Oh, I was doing it again. I was doing it again. Oh, I was doing it again. Oh, I was doing it again. Oh. Oh. Oh yeah, I guess it's it.
you're SDCK in the hole forever.
Oh yeah, I guess since it's like the sequel, I guess it makes sense.
Never mind.
No, yeah, I mean, I thought we'd go back to Stanley Penis 1, but no, guess we're going to Stanley Penis 2.
See, if you'd only played along, that would have been your name, the button says, but no. Instead, oh, I can't even think about it. I'm taking the Jim button away.
Stanley what?
Exactly. Anyway, settings? No. Okay. Alright, so where do we go now? Here?
You know what? Let's bring the jump circle back for Stanley Parable 2 as well. It's a... Oh, wait. You already spent all your jumps the first time we saw the jump circle. Oh well. I suppose it can just be a nice decorative piece then.
Oh, well, that's fucking stupid. There's a QR code up there. Hold on. Welcome to the official website, Stanley Parable 2. A sequel, huh? What's your help? And what?
Say there, Timmy. What's that you're enjoying? Why, it's breakfast, of course. Everyone loves breakfast. But did you know that breakfast is getting a sequel? That's right. It's called Lunch, and critics are raving that Lunch will be everything breakfast was and more. With a little luck, we may even get a trilogy series out of it. Say, you know what a sequel is, don't you, Timmy? Why, sequels are the world's way of clinging helplessly to the past. We all want more of the things we love, and we're all afraid of change, which is what makes sequels so popular. New ideas are dangerous, Timmy, and they can lead to early aging. This eager-minded young thinker is just 29 years old. That's why we have sequels, to keep us couched in the familiar and the comfortable. Sequels are the bedrock of a healthy, functional society. And if you look around you, you'll find them everywhere you go. For instance, this man is developing a sequel to the automobile, which we'll call the vertical automobile. It's a useless, impractical invention. And in 2 days' time, the man will be publicly stoned to death for his crimes against gravity. Not all sequels are heretical nonsense, however. Here's the man who invented breathing, which is the sequel to suffocating and dying a slow death. Even your parents are getting a sequel, Timmy. Their names are Rob and Jessica, and they'll be taking care of you once your original parents are sent back in time to fight a secret war for the government. Sequels can be very fashionable. This young woman is wearing 5 shirts at once, which is the sequel to wearing 4 shirts at once. Look at Becky over there, wearing only
All right,
2 shirts
have you
at
seen
once.
everything you
Get
wanted
with the
to?
times,
Ready to
Becky.
move on now?
In fact,
Yeah, I'm gone. Hey, this guy looks like Half-Life guy. Half-Life 2 guy.
So, Stanley, what do you think? Do you like all of the new features? Yes, I know it's not exactly clear yet how exactly these features will come together as one single coherent video game, but I can feel it in my soul. It's going to work. There's definitely a good game in there somewhere. Say, let's do an experiment. I'll arrange these new features together, and we'll see whether or not it coheres into a meaningful gameplay experience. Okay, are you ready? Here it is. I give you the Stanley Parable 2. I mean, there's potential here, right? It's sort of... Okay, never mind.
Looks a bit
Hold on,
shit.
let me do a different arrangement. Okay, yes, this is much better. I feel good about this. Here we go. Version 2.
Still looks a bit shit.
Who am I kidding, Stanley? This isn't a coherent video game at all. It's a lot of gags. And I do very much enjoy creating gags, but they don't add up to anything. I wanted more than anything to create a sequel that would capture all the magic of the first game. I wanted fans to love it. No matter how good these gags are, they won't stand on their own. They would need the structure and the gameplay of the original. Wait, maybe that's it. I can take the original Stanley Parable and simply, well, insert a few of my new features into it. Tastefully, of course.
Okay,
with
alright.
respect. With care for the
It's an
vision
easy
and
sequel,
integrity
but
of the
I'll
original
see.
game.
Okay, alright.
Would it possibly work? I suppose it could. But it would need a really, really tremendous title screen. A title screen that says with bold and uncompromising conviction, "This is the Stanley Parable 2." Let me see if I can whip something up.
Go for it.
All right, perfect. Go ahead. Take a look.
Alright, let's see. Oh, okay. Oh, they actually made an entire fucking title screen. Are you serious? Oh. Red.
Alright.
Alright. It's okay. Looks less shit.
Wow.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
This is probably a sequel, more of just like the game, but with add-ons.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Well, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Except go down there, because that's not what the bucket wanted me to do, so yeah. I'm gonna go down here.
No, stop. Look there on the wall, you see? There's a sign right there. It says, no buckets past this point. Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here? Unless, what if the problem is that you actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket? I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the
The sequel is now...
story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please, step in here for a moment.
Okay. What the fuck is going on? Like, this just... I don't even know what's going on anymore.
I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a...
I've seen a joke about this. I've seen like a fucking VR joke about this. I've seen... okay. I've seen someone...
Man, I'm so confused right now.
I'd seen like someone named like Chimp do this like joke before in VR. That's where it came from.
Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket.
And
Okay,
then
let's
in the
begin.
third one, a bucket flies in your face.
Item 1. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket. Item 2. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an
Fuck
actual
off, you
bucket.
Bell. All of these, I'm still getting clicked.
Item 3. Is this a bucket? Correct.
Correct.
This
I
is a
think they
bucket.
are all fake.
That one's real, at least.
Item 4. Is this a bucket?
No, obviously not. Unless it turns into a god.
Correct.
Never
This
mind.
is a tractor and not a bucket. To be honest, I just sort of put this one in here as a gimme, but I was starting to get concerned that even this might be too much for you. Thank you for not making me look like an idiot. Okay, next one. Is this a bucket? Incorrect. This is a bucket.
What? There's a fucking tractor.
Item 6. Is this a bucket?
No, no, it's not a bucket.
What?
Trick question. Both. Gotcha.
Oh, okay. It's not, and it is. What?
Item... Wait, hold on. I can't find the next one.
Oh,
Let me see. Should be
I know
around
where
here
this is going.
somewhere.
I know where this is going.
Okay, you and I both know there isn't anything here. And I don't appreciate the implication that nothing is a bucket when we both clearly know that a bucket is something. And therefore nothing could possibly be something. Unless, in your twisted mind, have you somehow convinced yourself that a bucket is nothing? Answer me straight, Stanley. Do you believe that nothing is a bucket? You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've lost all sense of perspective. What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is?
This game is making my brain lose brain cells.
I know.
Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself
What the
was all
fuck
I ever
is...
had to begin with. I'm afraid the bucket is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely.
Good.
Okay, here we go.
You just did you just erase everything
What
from
happened? Is everything gone?
You
Why did
erased
everything disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket? Every single thing in the game was a bucket. Oh my God, I had no idea. How could... except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you, Stanley, you're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets.
And
Yes,
the bucket isn't a
actually
bucket.
feel
I
much
can still
more
hear
at
it.
ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it
Look,
doesn't change the fact
you can hear the bucket
that
in the
we haven't got a
background.
game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay? And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person. All right, here we go.
Fuck it. Just don't pick up the bucket. Fuck that. It was funny when like you know what, fuck you, I'm not picking up the bucket. There's no narrator.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
No, let's go. What happens if I do the correct path? Will anything change if I do the correct path?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Probably.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings.
I'm doing absolutely none of that, by the way.
Clues to his situation.
Okay, I'll do
But his
that.
attention was caught by a keypad behind
Alright.
the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known that. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
This is still the sequel. Okay. Wow, the sequel's so innovative. It definitely not reminds me of like the first one. Holy shit.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Okay.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Red in this path. Whee! Yeah, boy. Oh, yes. Oh, where is this going?
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. And so he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Oh. Excuse me? Stanley Parable...
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created...
That's a very painful way to die.
Death becomes meaningless, making life the same.
Oh.
Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Did I beat the game? Like, the actual game? What's this?
I think.
What the fuck? This is so fucking weird.
I
don't
think
think
you beat the game.
I don't think I'm gonna be able to play, like... I was gonna do, like, a full... Like, 100% no save run on Undertale. But I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another.
Pressing the
How
button.
they both wish to
Pressing the
be
button.
free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Turn off your PlayStation. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let...
Well then. Anyway,
Wait, Stanley thought to himself. Am I sure that the orders stopped coming in? How is that possible? They never stopped. Surely I was mistaken. Stanley lifted the bucket into his arms, and a wave of comfort rushed over him. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room. And so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
is this the same game again?
Good, Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find this place eventually. You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're carrying around everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the first game, like the Adventure Line and the Broom Closet. Because that's what fans want from a sequel. They want more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure Line go somewhere new. Yes, yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it. Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well. Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
Alright, this is strange.
Don't you get it, Stanley? We need to get rid of the bucket. That's why I'm very proud to introduce a brand new character. This is the Bucket Destroyer. I think it'll make a wonderful new addition to the rich lore of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree? Can you guess what the Bucket Destroyer does? Surely you don't need me to spell it out for you. Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready. Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket. I don't know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait.
Even...
Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance that it's really like 10 personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure
God, it's got a bucket explode.
Destroyer
Oh, shit!
until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
Yeah, exploded. Fine. I am fucking tripping balls.
Bucket Destroyer, my prized creation. You had so much potential. We were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All
what the fuck is going on?
Goodbye, new friend. For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
I am so goddamn confused. What the fuck is going on? What the
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. The confusion and the chaos all seemed to melt away as Stanley embraced the bucket. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Well, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
What is going on?
I have no clue.
No,
said the bucket.
Don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Go there.
But Stanley feared that any path he walked might lead to the separation of himself and the bucket, his dearest friend. So he threw himself to his death, that they might die in one another's arms. How deeply touching. Stanley had never seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something?
He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. The moment he entered his manager's office, Stanley froze in his tracks. Not a living soul anywhere. Could he really be all alone? This was too much for Stanley to take. Too much for any man to... Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy. So he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music. Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway. You found one of them. One of the miniature Stanley figurines. Remember, no reward for collecting all of these, only the intrinsic pleasure of a job well done. You can't buy that sort of happiness, Stanley. God knows I've tried. So, I implore you to savor each and every moment you come across one of these beautiful figurines.
What the fuck is going on here? I got down here.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof, the heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machine
Fuck, I'm turning it on.
Never... Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control?
Yeah, it's fun.
Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I barely know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock. Why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones, or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to struggle. 30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say...
Turn off! No! Oh, well, I'm dead. Well... I didn't want something to happen. Wait, what the fuck? That's not happening.
Warmth spread through Stanley's arms. With the bucket, Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest.
Right.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Well, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
Did I go down here? I think I did. It just led me to the baby room.
Oh, good, Stanley. I'm glad you found your way here. I knew you'd find...
No.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the Stanley picked up the bucket and smiled. He'd never be alone. Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest, and this was not the correct way to the meeting room. But Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting, and so the two of them detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door. Coming to a staircase, Stanley and the bucket walked upstairs to the boss's office.
Another miniature Stanley figurine. This, you know, there really must be a snappier name for these things. What about mini-stands? Stanley figs? Or what about Stanlerines? Yes, I think I like that. Another Stanlerine under your belt.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then, something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. He looked down at the bucket in his arms. Am I crazy? He asked the bucket. The bucket returned his gaze, but said nothing at all. That's strange, Stanley thought. Usually the bucket is a source of guidance and wisdom for me in difficult times such as these. He held the bucket close, yet felt none of its familiar reassurance and comfort. And that's when Stanley realized, this isn't my bucket. It's just a normal, everyday bucket. Someone else's bucket, perhaps. How did I end up with someone else's bucket? This is all terribly wrong. Surely no good would come from this. Who knows what sorts of bizarre hallucinations Stanley might experience without the psychologically grounding presence of his bucket. And indeed, now he noticed that the rooms were repeating, which was, of course, very odd. And now he felt himself floating off the ground. Oh, gracious, he exclaimed. Without my bucket, I've gone truly mad. Where is it? I must find it. Far off in the distance now, he heard it, calling to him.
Stanley! Stanley, it's me, the bucket.
Could it truly be? He rushed forward from room to room, passing by one bucket after the next. None of them were his. None of them were his special bucket.
Oh, there's actual buckets.
Come to me, Stanley. Find me.
He had to find the bucket. He had to return to his old friend. It was the only way to truly restore his sanity. And then suddenly, he froze dead in his tracks. He knew where the voice of the bucket had been coming from. The real bucket was inside of him all along. It was incredibly painful.
Oh.
Stanley doubled over in agony and blacked out.
What am I gonna... Don't show it.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, picked up her bucket of comfort and security, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town, talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. Right away, she knew what the problem was. This man had no bucket. Of course! He got mad, ranting and raving about a narrator describing all of his actions and how everything is predetermined and free will is an illusion and it's all just a video game. It could all have been prevented if only he'd taken his bucket with him. Perhaps he didn't even realize he'd forgotten his bucket at home in the first place. How cruel the world can be, Mariella thought, and she hugged her own bucket even tighter. But of course, she had no time for this. There were a myriad of confusing problems she would soon have to confront at work.
for which her bucket would provide absolute guidance and total clarity on everything. Heck yes, she thought to herself, my life kicks ass. And she backflipped all the way to work.
Okay. What the... Is there an ending to this game? I have a feeling there isn't, and it's just gonna...
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley
Bucket?
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Oh, there you are, Bucket. What's up, bro?
The good old bucket. Just Stanley and the bucket. Off on another thrilling adventure together.
Stanley clutched the bucket tightly to his chest and entered the door on his left.
Okay, I entered the ending where it was right. Let's go for a left ending.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the bucket turned out to be correct? Well, no, never mind. The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift, yes. Good,
Said the bucket.
now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley
Probably
chose not
doesn't
to
have
think
an
about this
ending.
obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
In here.
Said the bucket.
Go into this dark room over here.
It's quite bright.
Stanley once again obeyed blindly.
Oh, this dark room.
Now pick up the phone.
Said the bucket.
Pick up the phone.
I'll pick up the phone.
This is the sad story of a man named Stanley and his bucket. Once upon a time, I gave Stanley a bucket because I thought he was lonely and could use a friend. And then, very distressingly, he began to believe the bucket could speak to him. The Stanley Parable Reassurance Bucket was merely meant to provide the comforting glow of companionship. It doesn't literally talk and give you orders. Whatever Stanley is hearing the bucket say to him is just in his head. Lately, I've been concerned about him. Wouldn't you be concerned as well? To see him delusional like this, obsessing over an inanimate metal object? I want to say something to him, but I don't know how I can convince him. I don't know if he'll listen to me. Oh, I'll try anyway. Stanley, can you hear me? Listen to me. It's just a bucket. It can't think, it can't talk. All it will ever truly do for you is effectively transfer a liquid from one location to a different location. That's it. It doesn't do anything else. You see, he's not listening. He's still taking orders from the bucket. You know, once upon a time it was me he took orders from. Me he trusted and listened to. Now all he cares about is his awful bucket. This stupid hunk of metal.
Oh, there it is.
It's sad, but I suppose he doesn't need me anymore. From now on, he's just going to cling to this bucket, this cold, empty bucket, this sort of shiny bucket. Well, I'll give it this. The bucket does have a nice shine to it. Yes, I suppose on closer inspection that it doesn't quite look like your average hardware store bucket. It's just a little more, what am I trying to say? Sturdier, more capable of transporting liquid. Like it would be better at moving an amount of water from one room to another. Oh my God, what am I saying? Better at carrying water from room to room. It's a bucket. It's literally just a bucket. Why do I feel some need to point out the ways in which it's so much more than just a regular bucket? Oh no. I'm having feelings for the bucket. No. What's going on? Why do I want to be with the bucket? Hear what the bucket has to say. Do anything it asks. What's wrong with me? I don't understand. Perhaps if I had the bucket, this would be less confusing. Yes, the bucket could tell me what to do in this troublesome situation. Stanley, give me the bucket. Give it to me. Give me the bucket, Stanley. I need it. Give it to me now. Give it or I'll...
Go back to work, Stanley. What the fuck?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps...
No, I'm not doing this now. Okay. This is the end of Stanley Parable 2, 1... I don't fucking know what is going on. That was the weirdest fucking game I've ever played in my goddamn life. I don't understand the meaning. I'm actually gone. This is not a loop. Well, actually, this is. It's a fucking YouTube video.
So confusing.
But whatever. Yeah, fucking hell, fuck me. I'm hammered. I'm actually speechless. I was gonna play Choo Choo Charles after this, but I just don't want to play anymore. I'll play Amanda tomorrow or Choo Choo Charles tomorrow because fucking hell.